So today, I ask that we get raw and vulnerable and go over these ideas of self-acceptance and self-love. And how do we claim that back in our life? And we go over how do we design the life that we truly want, the life that lights us up, not the life that people talk about that we think we're supposed to be having, but the life that really works for us. And what does that look like? And how do I get there? And these were questions that I had. I felt so down. I felt like mud and muck. I had nowhere else to go. I couldn't go sideways because I didn't even have friends and family to go sideways with. All I had was up. I could stay in that mud and that muck and wallow around and play the victim and feel really sorry for myself, or I could get into my growth, or I could choose to pull and suck up the nutrients and the mud and the muck of all of that I was experiencing and use it to be in the fullest expression of who I am. So here's what I did. First, I was like, I have to own my energy because I'm never ever going to feel motivated. You're never going to feel motivated. Motivation is like a made up concept in my mind. No one just wakes up and goes, I'm motivated. I want to work out. I want to crush it today. There are glimpses and moments like that and you're so grateful for them. But about 90% of the time, maybe even 95% of the time, you never feel motivated. You never feel like, oh, I want to work out. No. Or I want to just crush my goals today. Or I want to eat this amazing healing food all the time over this cheesecake and croissant, right? Motivation has to be created. It's never just falls from the sky. It's not given to certain people and you just missed out on that lottery ticket. That's not the definition of motivation. Motivation is claimed. Motivation is created in you getting into action when you absolutely don't feel like getting into action. Absolutely. Most people do not feel like moving their body. Most people do not feel like choosing the green salad over that croissant with cheese and bacon. They don't. Most people don't want to speak on a stage versus sitting in the audience. Most people don't want to do the grunt work of pursuing their life's passion versus scrolling through Facebook, watching reruns of whatever, Bachelor or whatever the show is. You know who I'm talking about. Let's get really real, okay? Let's get really real on this coaching call. Because if we can't get real with ourselves, we can't change. And the most important person to be honest with is yourself. And there's no judgment here. This is safe for you to internalize this and ask yourself some questions. So first thing is creating motivation. So I started to really eat healing foods. And that's the first foundation, you guys, is making sure that you're eating something living. That you're not eating foods because you feel guilty, that you feel like you're overweight, you feel like you have to. And it's not like it's bad or good. You're saying, is this going to serve my higher self right now? Is this going to give me energy or take away energy? And when you look at food like that, it takes out all the drama. And I started looking at food like that because I needed energy. I needed to be my biggest rescue. There was no one going to come riding up on a horse and rescue me. I didn't have anyone. My family was not there for me. I had pushed friends out of my life. I was my only person. And when you start to grab a hold that you take 100% responsibility for your life, you become your biggest rescue, miracles will happen. I took 100% responsibility for where I was in that moment. Broke as a joke, on the floor, tinfoil on my antenna, negative thoughts, lost my son. I took 100% radical responsibility for that. And in that doing, I said, if I created this reality that I'm living right now, which I'm not happy about, then I get to create the reality I want. And that gave me hope. That actually gave me hope. And I hope it gives you hope too. And I started creating my motivation. I started eating clean, healing foods. That is number one. And I started moving my body. Of course, I never felt like it. Of course, you're never really going to feel like it. You're tired. You're tired of fighting. You're tired of sucking up mud and muck, right? But I'm here to tell you that movement wakes you up. Movement is actually going to give you more energy. And if you can just get into it for the first 2 minutes, most likely you're going to like finish it out. And movement, you guys, there's free movement. I have all sorts of workouts for free on my YouTube. I have all sorts of recipes for free on my YouTube. So go ahead and grab them. I got them on my website, DanetteMay.com. You have access to all of that for free. Okay? So this is what I did. And as I did this, it gave me confidence. It cleared out the cobwebs. It gave me energy. It started to stir up motivation. And I had heard from all these people that I looked up to. They didn't know I looked up to them. I found these people online and on YouTube that were just doing everything that I wanted to do. So if there's somebody that you can look at, maybe you're friends with them, maybe you're not, doesn't matter, that you're like, oh, that's kind of the life I want. That's what I want to create. That's how I want to feel, the way that they're showing up. And then listen to them. See what they do. See if they're putting their information out there. Ask them questions. And the ones that were doing what I want to do said that they did affirmations. They started proclaiming the truth of their soul every single day, even if they didn't feel like it, and they especially probably didn't feel like it. And I was in the same boat. I didn't feel like it. I felt really bad about myself. I was very negative with myself. And that was just becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more negative words I said to myself, the worse I felt, and the more negativity I attracted in my life. And I needed to change that. And it started with the words I spoke to myself. So I started speaking truthful words, like I am a good mom. I have a good heart. I can make a difference. I am making a difference. I am successful. I am smart. I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am enough. And the list went on and on and on. And I would say this almost every 15 minutes to really get it ingrained in my cells. I had to fake it till I could make it in that way. I cried. I felt like I was telling myself lies as I would say these words. But I do know that words have power. Words are super powerful in your transformation and in your self-love. So I'm going to share 3 things with you that I did along a journey, like in this gap. And I know that it can help you if you're willing to try it on. And that first one was judgment. I grew up in a family where judgment was like our thing, like our currency, like our jam. We judged the news anchor. We judged anyone and everyone. The person driving next to us on the road. It was like our funny thing. It was like our thing. And so I was just used to judgment. And I found myself in this position where I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed with the life that I had created. I was the girl that we used to judge. And here I was it. And I found that the people that I judge is my invitation to look at myself. You see, we use judgment as our way to take away the spotlight on our own needs to grow. Do you know what I'm talking about? When someone is like sharing about some self-help or something and you might be listening to it or you might hear it at your church or whatever, do you usually go, oh, that's totally my husband. Like he could really use that. Or that's my friend Sally. Like she totally does that. She could use this message. Does your brain do that ever? You're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell them because they totally need this. Tell me I'm not alone, please. This is judgment. This is thinking outside of you that other people need more than you need. And I'm here to tell you, if you see something in others, that's your invitation for your work. Usually if you see something in others, especially if it triggers you, it creates a junk in your gut, that's your invitation, that's your work. That's your opportunity to release that judgment. We're walking around judging others. We're walking around judging ourselves, and it doesn't get us anywhere. It doesn't help us. If we were to truly step into loving others for their differences, celebrating their differences, not practicing, not agreeing necessarily, but loving them despite, it will give you permission to love yourself and your downfalls and your mistakes and your changing beliefs. Sometimes that's frightening for people. You might have carried a belief for years about certain things, and then all of a sudden you're questioning it, and you might be thinking, I'm going to question my identity. And I'm here to tell you that that's your invitation. And you have every right to change and every right to believe something different at a different time in your life. The other work I did, which I already explained to you for my self-acceptance, for your self-acceptance, is declaring positive words. What can you say to yourself every day that's going to lift you higher? What are those words that are going on in your head that are not serving you? And declare the truth of your soul. Declare them in the morning. Declare them as you're driving in your car. Put a timer on your phone. And when the timer goes off, just say them. Like they might take 30 seconds. Just say them. Say them before you go to bed, maybe while you're working out, in the shower, wherever works for you, but you need to say them. They're not the end-all be-all, especially for certain personalities, but they are a step in the right direction. Third, the company you're willing to keep. Jim Rohn says this, and I can't agree more, that you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Take that in for a minute. Who are the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most? Those are the people and the energies that you are bringing into yourself. Those actions, that is your mirror. Those people are your mirror. So be very ruthless on the company you're willing to keep. That doesn't mean you have to be mean to people and say, you can't be in my life, I don't like you, I can't be with you. For some people, yes, that's appropriate. But for majority of your friends or even family members, it's having healthy boundaries and saying, you know what, that doesn't serve me. That's not how I want to be. I don't want to talk that way about others or about myself. I don't actually want to go down this path. I want to go down a different path. And so you get to politely and with love excuse yourself to a different table. Does that make sense? A different table in life. Seek out those friends, those people in your life that are doing the things you want to do or showing up in love or being like those type of people. And you will become that. Or you'll become this and not go down the path you want to go. Most people tend to repeat patterns from their parents. For some of you, that's working for you. For most of us, it does not. We know we have a different destiny. And you get to be your biggest rescue, and you get to create that by ensuring that the energy you keep is in alignment with where you want to go. And then the last one is forgiveness. Forgiveness is your ticket. It is the secret sauce to self-love. It's forgiveness of others who have wronged you, who have hurt you, and it's forgiveness for yourself for allowing the past action or person who have wronged you. You've forgiven yourself for holding on to them, holding on to that story or that image or those words or those thoughts that they inflicted on you that has kept you from living the life you're destined for. And I know that some of you have experienced excruciating pain from someone else, abuse, abandonment, extreme hatred. And I know this is really, really touchy. And trust me, I've had to do really, really deep forgiveness work. And it's not an overnight job. It's not an end game. It's something that we have to do on a daily basis. And self-love, let me just tell you that right now, is not an end game. It's a daily practice. And forgiveness every single moment of every single day is critical. So let me just say right now, forgiveness is not righting the wrong. It's not saying, oh, it's okay, you did that, that was horrible, it's okay now. It's not sweeping it on the rug and saying I'm forgetting about it. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself. Freeing yourself from the energetic cord that you're placing between you and your offender or that experience that's holding you down. I think of a hot air balloon. You're trying to rise. You're trying to be in a good vibration and be happy, and you're trying to rise, and then you get sucked down into an image or a thought or someone who's trying to pull you down. And even if they're not doing it on a day-to-day basis, but you're doing it in your mind, you're remembering something from your past, and you feel it. It's like in the gut. Yeah, I know exactly what it feels like. It's like your hot air balloon goes and pulls back down, right? And that's that energetic cord that you're holding on to someone else or to an experience, and you get to release yourself from that. That's forgiveness. The saying, I'm not going to allow this to dictate my rise. I'm not going to allow this person or this experience to trigger me and pull me back into a lower vibration, to a lower frequency, into this story that doesn't serve me, that's not true, that I'm unworthy, or I caused this, or I deserve this. And you get to forgive yourself for the many years that you've held on to that story, because you're human and because you deserve that grace. And you get to forgive yourself and say, hey, I forgive you, and look yourself eye to eye in the mirror and say, I forgive you. You're doing the best you can, and now you're free to fly. You can release that energetic cord from the offender that hurt you, or that moment or that experience that really hurt you, so that you can rise into the woman and man that you know you're meant to be on this lifetime. I know these are 4 examples, but they're 4 deep ones. If you really step into them every day, it can truly change your life. And I'm so excited for you in this journey, because I'm telling you, this is the gap. This is the gap work to become that beautiful lotus in the fullest expression of who you are. I truly believe that every single one of us, doesn't matter your religious belief, your political beliefs, where you live around the world, we all want to be in the fullest expression of who we are, and our soul's expression of who we are.